My name is Nick. I work for film festival Flix. And this month, we're continuing our platform premiere series. And I'm really excited to tell you all that the show that we've decided to push this month is Vagina Town. Yes, I said that. I said it out loud. I'm going to say it a lot, and it's going to be really fun. You can see Vagina Town by going to Lady Filmmakers Channel on our platform, and go to filmfestivalflex.com, subscribe to Lady Filmmakers Channel. It's only $4.99 a month, and that will hook you up not only for this month's platform premiere, but also last month's platform premiere of I Put the Buy-in Bidder, which is a lot of fun too. I'm really excited to have with us the co-writer and director of Vagina Town, Jonathan Conte, actor Jennifer Page Stockwell, who plays she plays a doctor on TV. Jenny Walker is her character, and actor Katie Preston, who plays Catherine O'Hare, Dr. Catherine O'Hare, also.
Please, yes.
I totally forgot the last names of your characters, even though I came up with them. So that he was saying Katie, I was like, what was her last? What last name did we give her?
and that's what the internet is for. So,
I knew I put it on IMDb.
Could have at least Googled it first.
Yeah. First off, I just want to tell you all that I was really, really in love with the show. I never really know in advance what we're going to be putting out there, and so when I had a swath of things to choose from, I immediately gravitated towards this web series.
Awesome.
I think it's super fun. It's got some great comedy in it. It also doesn't necessarily always push the comedic elements, and there's a real human quality to it. Yeah, I was really impressed. This is an Idaho-made production, yes?
It is an Idaho-made production. Now, were you drawn to it because of the title? How was the title for you, Nick? Was that what drew your attention?
Well, I did just mention that we had last month we had I Put the Buy-in Bidder. So there's some competing great titles out there as well.
Buy-in Bidder.
But yeah, no, and it wasn't the Idaho factor necessarily either. But I do want to ask what it's like to be making something like this far from the confines of Hollywood. What is it like to be outside the bubble? Super fun.
Yeah. I thought the show was super fun. It was super fun to make. We had a good time. And it's also very hard outside the confines of the bubble when you're the one actually in charge of everything and in charge of down to catering, which I think we hired Pat, one of the actors on our show who played Dr. Radovac. He also has a catering company. And I want to say that I hired him for his comedic expertise, but also the catering was definitely a factor in that. Yeah, so it's a lot of work, but it's super fun and super rewarding now looking back on it. Once it was done, like when it first ended, I was like, fuck this, I don't want to do this ever again. But like when he invited us to come back on here, I was like, oh yeah. And I think of the project so fondly now that it's been a couple years.
Yeah. Awesome. I was glad you were into it. I was scared to be like, John, we need to talk about this. You're like, oh yeah, okay, cool. I'm like, all right, thank God.
Well, yeah, as time passes, like I miss the cast for sure. Like that's the best part.
Yeah, we have fun.
Like the just hanging out so often. It's like Jen and I haven't seen Jen in like a year, and we hung out every day for like 6 months. Texted when we left the set and stuff. That was the fun part.
It sounds like a blast. So this question isn't necessarily just for John. I'm wondering if any of you were to give the elevator pitch for this series, what would that look like now that you've already done it? How did you do it the first time, and how would you do it now?
I'm not allowed to talk anymore.
I know, and I'm like, I don't want to cut Jen off.
Jen, give the pitch. Jen's great at
do it.
No, go.
Okay, all right.
Go, Katie.
I want to do
all
it.
You.
I don't think I'd do it any differently, honestly. I know that's
right.
I just want to hear what your perspectives are about what the show is.
Mine was just kind of like, it's a real take on like shit that women deal with in the workplace and like in their bodies and in relationships. And, you know, maybe not even just women, because I think a lot of stuff is universal that just gets applied to one sex versus another. I mean, I guess obviously not the specific vagina part, but I don't know. Like, I just think it's really relatable and it's fun and it's just like a real take on stuff that happens.
But I think we pitched it right. Like
Yeah.
the opening of the show is very right. Jen said it best in one of the behind the scenes clips. That's why I wanted to say it. But yes, the show is called Vagina Town. Yes, it's kind of geared towards women, but it's a human story. Everyone can relate to it. Like, these are real people dealing with real problems. Like it says in the opening credits, you can't make this shit up. We shot it in a real OBGYN clinic with real OBGYN writers. All those patient stories are real people. It's real. I think that's the coolest part about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think one of the more interesting things about it is that, yeah, it does have the premise and it does have like the location, but at the same time, it's really honestly more grounded in the overall story of Jenny really trying to figure out this big issue that's hovering over her life. And I guess I would want to know, you already referenced the opening text of the show, which is the patient stories in Vagina Town came from real OBGYNs. Swear to God, we couldn't make this shit up. I'm wondering, were there any stories that you wanted to include that you weren't able to get in there?
I mean, there were some that were just too nasty. Like, there were some that were fucking wild, man. The potato story really comes to mind. Like, that one was bad. Yeah. Did you want to hear that? Is this rated?
I mean, it is Idaho.
I mean, you're in Idaho, so I think you can talk about potatoes.
Apparently, a patient, it was an older patient, and she put a potato up her vagina for some reason. I forget what it was for or why she did that, but she left it in there so long that it actually grew a root system. Oh, wow. So imagine the OBGYN going in under the covers and there's roots coming out of this lady's vagina. Like I said, you can't make this shit up. But when I was thinking about that, I was like, how would we probably stay away from that one? Like, the pocket knife is crazy enough. Let's I still feel worried about the pocket knife, but let's let's not try to push our luck.
You already do have your share of insertion stories.
Yeah.
Shall we say?
Yeah, I mean, that's the classic story, right? The nurse will find, you ask a nurse, like, what's the craziest thing you found up someone's ass? You ask an OBGYN, what's the craziest thing you found up someone's vagina? And they'll give you some stories.
You mentioned that there were some OBGYNs on the writing staff. Were there other ways in which you gathered some of the stories?
No, we went specifically with the one OBGYN, Kathleen. She was our main OBGYN. Katie's character is based on her. That's why she's Catherine O'Hare. It's Kathleen is the other writer. And her and her clinic provided all the stories. They aren't necessarily directly what Kathleen saw or has experienced, but yeah, either one of her coworkers or just she'd heard about and stuff and how you deal with it and stuff. And yeah, we took a lot from just everyone in the show. Like, Kathleen is not only you, she's the first patient. So
that's right.
The first patient is Kathleen's story of her first children and how she reacted to getting the news that twins are on the way. And yeah, so yeah, it's all her.
Excellent. So focusing on some of the performances, the working relationship and friendship between Jenny and Catherine it's pretty complex, I would say. And I'm wondering how much of that was developed, how much was on the page and how much was developed over time in rehearsal or just on set. I'd love to hear all of you comment on that.
Yes.
We've been friends for such a long time that I think that I personally didn't have to put a lot of work into that part of it because Jen's just so fun and easy to play with. And I'd been playing with her for a long time.
Okay, okay. So did all three of you know each other prior to casting then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. We were.
Sorry, not to jump
No,
in.
you talk. I don't want.
Can I talk?
Yeah,
Whoa.
you talk. You talk.
Hi. No, Katie and I have known each other for good grief, going on a decade, maybe. Does that sound about right? Something
Probably
like that.
At least, yeah.
Yeah, and we've worked together on other projects, on stage, in film, and such. So yeah, as far as being friends, that's easy because she's my friend and she's friendly and fun and professional. And so as far as rehearsing that, it's like, oh yeah, this is what we do. So yeah, it was so much fun working with Katie and John and the cast. So as far as filming and the project itself, it was like, this is playtime. This is not even like work.
Yeah.
Well, if you two remember, the whole reason where this project started was that my first film, I worked with Jen, and I absolutely hated that whole thing except for Jen. And then I made a film with Katie, and we were at the wrap party for that film, and we were just like sitting around the campfire with Kathleen, and we were just like, how do we do something with all three of us? Because and so the almost concept was you two being friends right from the beginning. Like, it's like, you two are great. How do we make a show that centers around you two?
Oh yeah, and we kept taking you out for tacos and being like, get this done, write this.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about all that.
Yeah. Is that how one gets cast? You just tacos?
Yeah.
Basically tacos,
and we were really drunk around that campfire. At least I was. So I woke up the next morning and I had to be reminded.
What did I do?
I agreed to this. Yeah. It's how you talk someone to writing a story called Vagina Town.
Yeah, I think originally we talked about an idea of doing like a parody of the Real Housewives, but in this remote town in Idaho, Real Housewives of City. Basically, it was just an excuse so we could all go camping and film something for a weekend, but grew from that. Yeah.
With more tacos and alcohol. Gotcha.
Always.
So continuing with the idea of the characters, like from my point of view, Jenny is sort of, when we start at the beginning of the series, she's kind of enduring. She hasn't really mapped out how to get to the thing that she wants. And then Catherine has the thing that Jenny wants, but kind of just wants to burn everything down.
Interesting.
That's what I got out of it.
I like it. All right.
Yeah, but somehow, like, with their friendship and prodding from one to the next, back and forth, it seems like they're able to somehow help each other over the course of the series. And I'm just wondering if that dynamic in particular was something that's was natural to adopt and portray, or if it was something that you had to work at.
Are you talking to us now? Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I don't want to cut people
the
off.
actors in the room. Yes.
Right. For me personally, no. Like, I don't have kids, so that wasn't something I have. But I feel like I end up in situations a lot where I have things that society has told me I'm supposed to want, or like has given me attention or accolades for having, like certain jobs or houses or different like life positions, and that's not always what I've wanted or has made me happy. And so I've kind of fought against it a little bit. Like, I threw the biggest fit when I got a college degree because I felt like I failed myself because it just didn't matter to me. It was a whole thing. But so like from that aspect of it, I feel like I could bond to that part of Catherine, where like she has this great job, these great kids, this great marriage, house, blah, blah. But it didn't necessarily, I felt, jive with like maybe what aligned crazy inside her. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Interesting. Jennifer.
You know, Jen.
Sorry, go ahead.
You know what's weird, Jen, is when I think about it is we kind of switched you and Katie, right? Like your whole life stories. Yeah. Like you're more like Catherine in real life, and she's more like you in real life.
Yeah, that is true. I have kids. They're teenagers. So, and actually, my youngest was a voiceover in a moment in one of the episodes.
That's right. We put your kid in the first episode.
Yeah. So it's as far as, you know, relating to these characters and experience, it's especially when we're approaching midlife, we kind of reevaluate where we're at and our own personal journey, and like, oh my God, what have I done? Kind of like Katie, like, what have I done? What am I not doing? And so, you know, I think that is relatable no matter what it is, whatever the goal is you're after, whether it's Jenny's case is kids. And okay, I've spent my whole life on a career and that's all I have to show for it. And this empty case of wine bottles. So we all do that, I think, you know, just the reflection of where am I at? Where am I going? What do I need to do?
Yeah, and Jenny's character is actually modeled more on my life. Like her life story is more my life story. At the time that we were going through this, I was going through that at 29. So yeah, that's where you get the whole human part of it, right? It wasn't a, you know, it's just a human story of that, what Jenny's going through. And yeah, I had empty, they weren't wine bottles, but they were Coors Light cans, Jen, all right?
Cases, yes, I know.
Yes.
I know,
yes.
cases.
Well, Jen, what you said actually set up my next question pretty nicely, which is with that evolution that your character undergoes throughout the series, how did you approach conveying those benchmarks? Because there are sort of several steps before we wrap up in the final episode with a decision.
Is that for me? Sorry.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you need to
Okay.
repeat the question or?
No, you know, as far as an actor with benchmarks, hopefully if a role is written well, the writer does it for you, and it's that arc of a character, and John did that fantastically. So it's, you know, it's a bit by bit, and there's always little goals to get to that big goal. As far as, you know, personally, I mean, we bring our lives and our own personal experiences into our acting. It's inevitable, right? We have our own history with us. And so, yeah, there's moments, you know, we all have our trials in life. And so you bring those things into your performance and your craft, if you will. And, you know, it's because especially this story is so relatable. So yeah, it was an easy journey for me, I think, just because it was written well, and you know, we as a group, we were always discussing in collaboration, like, hey, where do you think these characters should be going? So I think that was helpful too.
Hey, I have a question, ladies. What was your favorite scene to shoot? I already have mine. So what was yours?
I'm trying to.
I'll go first. It's
Okay.
it's the dude jacking off scene.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah. I still laugh out loud. Your two's interaction outside the door is so great. Like that
was fun.
That was so fun. You two,
That was fun.
your guys' energy. And I forget who we cast as I can't believe we found someone. Fred. Oh
Fred.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To do that. And that was my favorite scene.
I mean, now that you mentioned that was really fun.
That one was fun.
Yeah.
And you two are fantastic. And it was just pure comedy. And yeah.
Episode 6 was interesting too, because we tried to do it as a vibrating phone.
Sorry. At least it's vibrating. Yeah.
Yeah, at least it is.
No, I mean, we're down the set of Vagina Town.
It's great.
It's on theme.
Yeah. Anyway, but episode 6, we tried to shoot most of it as a wonder, like the whole barbecue thing. So that was kind of fun too. I don't know that it was my favorite one to shoot, but it was really fun because we just got to keep doing it and, like, you know, really rehearse it all day. And to me, that's fun because then you get to find all the little tiny moments and play with them differently. So I enjoyed that a lot.
It's a lot of charcoal to expend.
Yeah, it was a lot of tacos.
For me, that one wasn't fun.
I don't remember you looking very happy.
There's just so much. Like, I don't know. Like, halfway through it, I'm like, why did I want this oneer? But I learned so much from it. I bet you I could pull off a better. That's the great thing about this show and just indie filmmaking in general. If anyone watching this is making films, like, you learn a lot. You learn so much between your first one and your second one.
If you make it to a second one.
If you make it to a second one, it's night and day. And then your third one, like, keep making shit. You'll learn. And it's gonna suck for those first couple.
That's right, folks. Keep making shit. Don't be
keep making shit, and it's gonna suck. Those first ones. Keep making shit, and it's gonna suck. That should be. Please, can we name the live stream that?
Or can we just like get it on a T-shirt with Film Festival Flix on the back?
I mean, maybe that's just your next web series.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. That's a working title.
There we go.
I mean, you know, web series about making a web series. Why not?
Yeah. Oh my God! Stop it! Stop it, Nick! You're putting
living in oblivion. You know,
this is so great. And Jen has BCT. All right.
I know, right? He's gonna be bringing you beer and tacos soon, and be like, you know, we talked about this.
Yeah.
That's how you get it, Nick.
Yeah.
I'm only a few states over.
Yeah.
So, Katie,
yes.
At one point in the show, your character is accused of living vicariously through Jenny, and I'm wondering. I know from our pre-Facebook Live discussion that John was kind of writing these episode by episode. But did you know in advance that was the dynamic that you were undergoing, that your character was under the spell of? And if not, did any aspect of that creep in terms of like guiding your portrayal?
You know, I don't know that I knew about it before we started, but like he was saying, he was kind of writing these as we went along, and it was super collaborative. So we'd all be talking, and I am not sure, but I kind of feel like that aspect of it came out of some of our joint conversations, and that we just kind of let it go there. Because I think with me being the person I am, not wanting all these benchmarks that society gives you, I really gravitated toward that being a thing, being like, let's let her not really be happy about this and want to be a little bit of a shit show.
Yeah, and the way I wrote it is I would meet with Kathleen. She would give me all the OBGYN stuff and everything like that. And then I would write something, and then all of us together, the whole cast and crew, would meet and read the script and go over it. And obviously, like, there's a lot of, you know, women's issues and things like that I'm not aware of, or Kathleen would say, no, a doctor would say it like this. And Jen would be like, I don't think my character would do this. I think she'd do that. So yeah, we all kind of wrote it together. Is it easier as an actor to know where the end point is for your character, or to kind of go along with them on that journey?
Yeah, does the knowledge of arc help?
Yeah.
The only reason that I would like it is because I never want to look back at something I did 3 episodes ago and be like, oh, well, I would have played that different if I knew this. But also I kind of like the surprise of moving along and going through the journey with them too. So I don't know. I could make an argument for both cases, I guess, for me.
Okay. Another thing, John, that sort of like stood out to me earlier was I'm sorry, go ahead.
Jen, talk.
Do you want an arc?
Oh, no. Sorry. I have really shaky reception anyway. So like every 10th word is gone. So I'm like,
oh God.
What are they saying?
I am curious about your thoughts on the arc.
Jen was so terrible.
Yeah,
I'm getting it loud and clear.
And this is the magic of the internet.
Yeah. Wee!
No, I agree with you on that. As far as you know, it's a toss-up as far as knowing in advance or knowing, you know, and being part of the process as far as where your character's going. I don't know. I think I prefer it the way that we did it, just because you have, you know, all the background story and the inner workings of the character. Excuse me, of the character instead of just the script. Sorry, Katie, what was that?
I thought it was under my breath. Like, your movements are so far delayed from your mouth. I was like, what is she doing?
And Jen, with your character, it seemed to be a little different because we knew
the end point, right? We kind of knew the end point with your character. We knew the beginning. The middle was what we were trying to fill, right?
Yeah.
And with you, we were discovering yours just kind of as we went.
I know, I was getting stoked for season 2 with
and
her. I was like,
season
she gonna
2
go
would be so much more heavy on Katie, because I just learned about your character as we went and developed it more, and it's like, holy cow. So yeah, that would be fun.
So since you did do this one episode at a time in terms of writing it, did you have a preference? Have you done it another way where you started with everything in place?
I have.
Yeah.
And what are the benefits of one versus the other, in your opinion?
You go first.
You want to go first? I just finished a web series where I did it that way. I wrote the whole thing first, and then we basically shot it like a feature so I could cut it. I needed to do it that way. That might be my steaming pile of shit. I think it's better than the shit, but it's my first one. And I learned a lot. I think if you're gonna do it that way, you need to make sure and have like the way of doing it all at once. Get some feedback, go through some rewrites, do some table reads, work it with people. And I didn't. I was like, it's done, we're shooting it, let's just do it. And I liked the natural progression of the way we did it. I think there might have been some missed moments the way that I did it, that could have like really been carved out better had I gotten I see John nodding behind me, like gotten everyone involved and like seen where it was kind of naturally going with everybody involved, and let it be this more collaborative thing outside of my control instead of just this little like, this is the story I'm telling and here it is. So I don't know, I would probably lean toward doing it more this way next time.
Yeah, the benefit of doing it this way is that in real time you can develop the characters, which is with your talent. Like Katie and Jen are living the characters from episode to episode, and maybe when they get the whole script right away, they're kind of like, oh, I'm not, I see it, but I'm not quite sure, until they actually get into character. Once they were able to get into character and I was able to discuss each upcoming episode from them, it was like, yeah, we could really, really, really dive in, and I could get feedback from them actually playing and living the character. That was so valuable. Now, the downside to doing it this way is that it puts a lot more on me to actually like,
that's what I was scared of.
I'm doing stuff. I'm actually like writing, and we're doing the table reads and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's the yin and yang, I think, from doing it the two different ways.
And that was sort of my fear, is I didn't see myself being able to keep up with continuing writing it while we were shooting it. So I was like, it just needs to be all written and done. But I do think I cheated it out of a lot of like collaboration that could have happened and made it really different.
If you do it the way that we did it, though, you need to have hard deadlines. Like, do not say, okay, we're going to shoot episode 1 today, and then when I'm done with episode 2, we're going to shoot it. Because then you're going to shoot episode 1, people are going to wait 4 months, you have to get your cast and crew back together, and then that you cannot do. So we made it a point, like, shoots are every 3 weeks, okay? This, we shoot this week, next week I write, this week's a table read, then we go to a shoot. And we didn't miss those deadlines. So if you do it that way, you got to stick to your deadlines.
That's right. And anyone listening in, deadlines, they're important.
Deadlines, for sure.
I mean, as a motivator alone, my God.
Right. And you know what? Pay your cast and crew. You'll hit your deadlines.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pay your people.
Yeah.
That's
if you're an indie person and you just called up a bunch of friends and you're like, oh, they'll come back and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, they won't. Stop. They won't.
And if they do, they'll have cut their hair or like gotten a tattoo.
And they're going to hate you. Okay. They're going to hate you.
Yeah.
Deep down. No. And hold resentments. Pay them at least something, and you won't miss your deadlines.
So, Jonathan, earlier I characterized you as the co-writer and the director of the series. I think I glossed over a little bit. Jake, the bartender.
Yeah.
Which honestly, I didn't notice that it was you. until maybe the second appearance. I saw your name in the acting credits. Like, wait a second. So was that out of necessity? Are you?
Dude,
camera.
I just think I'm Quentin Tarantino for some reason. I don't know. I'm like, if Quentin can do it, I can do it. No. I just wanted I wanted to put myself in it. I wanted the challenge. I think I am not a trained actor, but I just wanted to give it a shot, and I gave it a shot, and it was really cool. And yeah, and then season 2, I had a lot more planned for my character, and now since that experience, I've spent a lot more time in front of the camera, so I think my acting would be a little bit better. But I think it was just a challenge. I just wanted to challenge myself with something, and I just wanted to stare into Jen's blue eyes.
There you are. I mean, I did make note earlier before we went live about how I just watched you make burritos with your mom on YouTube.
Yeah, that's more me.
Yeah, and as a person who's mostly vegetarian, I'm pescatarian. I did not know anything about dehydrated ground beef. So
most of my work is in like adventure travel. So the fact that I made a show called Vagina Town is crazy, but it was literally to work with these two, honestly.
Just one more thing about Jake the bartender. I really appreciated how Jake's main purpose in the entire show was just to be like this giver of sage advice, and not even necessarily like respectfully given. Just like, you guys are wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially about like just the male take on dating. Was kind of like, I had to add that, like, no, he doesn't care about that. He cares about this, blah, blah, blah. And not saying it respectfully and kind of sarcastically. That is definitely who I am. Like, I think that I talked to these two. I even directed like that, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like a sarcastic asshole. Since I can't act, I had to really put him in my voice, which...
But it worked. It made it easy to act with him in that role. And like, it was super natural to have him play that, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so you've got the bluntness of Jake, but then on like the polar opposite of the male spectrum, you've got Martin, who administers at the clinic, and is, a little... I think he doesn't quite understand the female perspective. It's pretty clear. That's forwarded strongly. And he endures a lot of like lovingly applied dismissal and like bullying to coworkers, which is really fun to watch, I have to say. Especially watching Catherine do the bullying, because there's a bit of a bull in a China shop kind of steamroller effect going on there. It's really fun. Love, and for anyone who hasn't seen the show yet and wants to like have this one thing to hold out until the end of the show that I think was just an incredible scene, the shrimp thing. The running shrimp joke in the last episode is beautiful. I'll say no more spoilers, but
no more fucking shrimp. That was great.
That was
and
it's like the show Soup Nazi.
Yeah. And Pat is a trained chef and comedian, so like that is so him, and it was great.
Doesn't he host like comedy cooking events?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, so that's right up his alley. And I also love, man, the episode with the guy jacking off. I just can't speak enough on that one. But that episode was definitely my favorite, and the whole, after being bullied so much, the moment that you have with him, like your relationship is great. I love it.
I did too.
And I would have played that more. And yeah, he's just this doof of a guy, but I think we made him super enduring because he truly is trying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can see that with him. Yeah,
and that was great. And he just didn't get it right, but he kept trying, and he takes Catherine's beating and correcting. And deep down, I think Catherine has this weird love and appreciation for him. Like knowing that this guy does have like her back. And that really comes through in that episode, like where he just kind of takes a bullet for his ladies.
Yeah, I think that really comes across strongly.
Yeah.
On the opposite end, a character that's nothing but like one to laugh at. We need to talk about Bobby Turner.
Who's Bobby Turner?
Bobby Turner is the guy that gets hooked up with Jennifer by her mom.
Dude, that episode's great too. God, this show was good, actually. That's what I'm thinking about it. I'm laughing.
Great. I forgot about him. I forgot what his name was.
I did too. Austin.
I mean, I know Austin's name, but I didn't remember what the character name was. Yeah.
Do you guys still see Austin? I always see you guys posting with him and stuff.
I ran into him a lot. Austin was actually on the film that we all worked on that started this, right?
Yeah. He kills you in the one that we. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, he tries to, and then you actually end up getting it.
Oh yeah, I got him.
Yeah, you end up. Yeah.
Spoiler.
That's a short film that no one will ever see. Don't worry.
We're not going to be talking about that one later.
No. That was the first one where I met Katie.
But that was the one we were doing the rap party for.
And so Austin was part of that. So Austin was like, again, I just wanted him in there like so bad because I liked working with him. And he's just like that kind of guy. He does stand-up comedy and stuff. So he was really fun. Man, I don't even know how I wrote that character. Isn't he Jewish? Why did I write him Jewish? Oh, I had to write him Jewish so he couldn't drive you home. That's why.
Oh yeah.
Because he's she's hungover at his house and she needs a ride home, and I'm like, but we got to make this more awkward. Like she can't get out of there. How do I do that? So I wrote him Jewish, and it's Shabbos, so he can't drive. And I totally stole that from The Big Lebowski.
Yeah. I was wondering if there was some sort of crossover there. And then like my favorite line that he utters is "Fart and Shabbos,"
and that's improv by him. So I didn't write that. Austin just pulled that out, and I was like, that almost made me die on set. And I was like, that's making the final cut for sure.
Well, I got to say, one of the things I really appreciate about the series is that a lot of web series feel sort of artificially shortened or truncated. They don't feel like full ideas. They feel like essentially a medium for delivering a bunch of jokes. And they're usually like 5 minutes long. And Vagina Town feels like a full meal. Like there's some episodes that actually, like the first episode almost approaches sitcom length. And
what?
Well, it's like 23 minutes long.
Yeah. We were. So here's another tip for independent filmmakers, I guess. So when I started the whole project, I'm like, the goal is for this to be picked up, right? I mean, that's everyone's dream. First of all, that should not be your goal. Don't make that your goal. Your goal should be, I want people to watch this and get your message out. And so I was really like, we got to stick to this like sitcom format. We got to make it more sitcom-like. And if I were to go back and do it again, I'd probably go with the in-between. Because I agree with you. Like I see these web series that are 2.5 minutes each, and it's just like a monologue. And I'm like, what is this? This isn't a real, is this a show? Is this, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a joke.
Right. So, but at the same time, like, you know, people's attention spans are tough. So you're always trying to play with that balance and yeah. But I never thought of that. How I've never gotten that feedback from someone where it feels like a fully fleshed idea. But I think that was because we approached it like, we're going to turn this into the next Seinfeld, which is so absolutely ridiculous, but also a good goal. Like if you don't get there, it'll be a better product. I think though, I wanted to shoot it a certain way with like all this great equipment and stuff like that. You don't need that. Like a web series is a web series. Shoot it with the equipment you have, focus on the story, and then put it out. There's so many places to put it out right now where you don't need someone to distribute it. Put it all over social media and really lean into that basket of just getting it seen, and you'll have a better time. More people will watch it, and it'll be a better product.
Awesome.
That's your
Noted.
advice.
Yeah,
That's
no, I'm taking
advice,
it.
lady.
I'm listening.
I've texted
right?
you this 1,000 times.
I know, and I'm so fucking stubborn. I don't listen to you when you talk to me at all.
No.
Are you still talking?
Right, Jen? Jen, talk.
Yes.
And go.
Yes. There's a reason why I'm not sitting on that couch, because I would be right in between like mom and dad and me. So I'm like, I'm just gonna sit quietly in my own little space.
My little brick wall.
We said before the show that Jen's the one with the most filter, so she's just sitting there filtering and thinking. Also, is that how I direct, by the way? And Jen, talk. It's pretty close, right?
Yes, that's it. Jen, that was terrible. Do it better. Okay. That was better.
Yeah, it's kind of like Jake, very blunt. Like, no, again.
Yeah.
Or like I would just say like, I didn't like that. Do it again, and you'd be like, what do you want me to do differently? And I was like, I don't know, differently.
Yep.
How frustrating was that for you, Jen?
Although I would say Jake was nicer with his delivery. Like he was a little kinder, like, yeah, maybe you should do this. And John's more like, nope, that's bad. Do it again. Yeah.
Jake was under less stress than John at that time, I think.
You know what it was though? I was struggling with the being a new director and these ladies like having all this wealth of acting experience. Like I really sometimes we were on set and I really didn't like whatever was happening, but I didn't know how to fix it. And I let you two just kind of, that was my thought. And I think it worked a lot. Like, I'm just going to let these two very good actresses fix this. And we're just going to roll camera till they do. And 9 out of 10 times that worked. Or you got to a point where I was finally able to see like, oh, this is okay. This is where we're going to go. Let's go this way.
Awesome. Well, this has been a ton of fun. So thanks so much, John, Katie, Jen, for being here. And we're really excited to be able to really push the show. For those who are just tuning in right now, it's Vagina Town. It's hitting Film Festival Flix's Lady Filmmakers Channel tomorrow. That's Friday. First thing in the morning. You can be up at like 12:01 wherever you're living, and you can watch this. It's only $4.99 to subscribe to the Lady Filmmakers Channel. Before we go, I just want to toss one more question out there, a parting question, and that's if season 2 were to happen, where do you think these characters are now?
Is that for me?
That's for
I want Jen, you start. I want to know what these two think before I say.
Oh, wow. So there was thoughts about, where Jenny, because it leaves you on a cliffhanger, the end of season 1. And I think season 2 is more of discovering Catherine and where that goes. And so I like to think that maybe those role reversals happen for these characters. For instance, if Catherine's character goes, like, hey, maybe I don't want to be married with kids. And then I'm living vicariously through that character. So I see a little bit of that happening. Because I think originally we talked about having 3 seasons.
Yep.
And so season 2 would definitely focus on Catherine.
Yeah.
I like that.
What do you think, Katie?
I remember us talking about that. And yeah, I remember getting excited for her to derail a little bit and kind of unwind some of this stuff that she has that's good. And then either see her realize that it was good and she fucked up by derailing it, or fully enjoy the derailing. I'm not sure. And then still supporting Jenny through the things that she's working through as well, of course.
Well,
Oh, she's frozen.
yeah, I know. I definitely know where it'd go because I had it all figured out.
Yeah.
But they're spot on. Catherine would definitely start to derail a little bit as Jenny started to find some stability. I think that's kind of the cliffhanger we leave it on, is like setting us up for the stability that she finds there at the end. And I think we kind of see it kind of starting to derail with your character at the party, right?
Yeah,
because your husband is at the party and she's kind of not, I mean, there's you can definitely see the disconnect.
Yeah.
So I think we would go those two separate ways. We would really get in on Katie's character and kind of dive into her a little more as Jen starts to like figure her life out. Because, right, I mean, in this whole series, she's kind of just getting shit on and beat up and stuff, and with her dating life. So we would just take a different approach and finally get to see, like, yeah, her actually figure it out.
Some shit's working out.
Some shit working out. And then I would also start to break you two apart. I would break the two characters, Jen and Katie's characters, apart, where they start to have a falling out.
I don't like that as much, but
and I would have you guys totally at odds by the end of season 2, and then I would bring you two back together in season 3. That's how I do it.
Okay.
I only wrote the first season, so
that if we get 2, we have to make it to 3.
Right.
Excellent. Well, thanks again to all of you for
Thank
your time
you.
and for the great conversation. Please, everyone, check out Vagina Town tomorrow. Filmfestivalflix.com. Awesome.
Vagina.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.